There is a strange kind of power that some people seem to carry. They enter a room and something shifts. No loud voice, no aggressive confidence, no attempt to dominate the conversation. Yet people listen. People pause. People treat them differently. You can feel it. Respect. And the confusing part is this: they didn't say anything to earn it. Which raises a quiet question. What if respect is not created by what you say, but by how your nervous system teaches others to treat you? Tonight, we are going to explore the hidden psychology of silent respect. Because beneath the surface, your brain is constantly broadcasting signals. Signals about confidence, signals about boundaries, signals about how much influence someone has over you. And people, whether they realize it or not, are always listening. Many people believe respect comes from speaking well, from clever arguments, from impressive achievements, from being charismatic. But everyday life often reveals something different. You might notice moments like this. You say something in a group conversation and someone interrupts. You begin explaining an idea and someone dismisses it quickly. You feel slightly misunderstood, so you try to clarify what you meant. You add more explanation, more context, more reassurance. But strangely, the more you explain, the less weight your words seem to carry. This experience is more common than people admit, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has to do with social signaling. Behavioral psychologists describe human interaction as a constant exchange of subtle status cues, not dominance in the dramatic sense, but microsignals. Who maintains eye contact? Who adjusts their tone? Who laughs nervously? Who explains themselves? Who stays calm when tension appears? Every conversation becomes a small negotiation of emotional influence. And the human brain is incredibly good at detecting these signals, even when no one is consciously trying. Anthropologists believe this sensitivity evolved because humans survived in small social groups. In those environments, it was important to know who remained stable under pressure, who reacted emotionally, who could be relied upon. Your brain still carries this ancient system, and it is always scanning, always measuring, always updating its internal model of social stability. Which means respect is often decided long before anyone says anything impressive. One of the most powerful forces shaping human behavior is feedback loops. The brain learns from reactions. If a behavior produces a result, the brain remembers it. This is the core of operant conditioning. Imagine someone makes a sarcastic remark. If you react quickly, their brain learns something. Interesting. That moved them emotionally. If someone interrupts you, and you immediately explain yourself, their brain registers influence. Interrupting works here. These reactions become tiny pieces of data, small reinforcements, small permissions. Over time, people build an unconscious model of your behavior. This person explains themselves. This person reacts quickly. This person adjusts first. And once that model exists, interactions begin to follow it. But the opposite is also true. When expected reactions do not happen, the brain becomes uncertain. And uncertainty changes behavior. If you recognize yourself in these patterns, there is a temptation to judge yourself harshly, to think you are weak or socially awkward or lacking confidence. But psychology suggests a different explanation. Your brain may simply be highly tuned to social harmony. Certain neural systems, especially those involving the anterior cingulate cortex, help detect social tension. They monitor emotional conflict between people. When tension appears, your brain feels an urge to repair it. Explain, clarify, apologize, smooth the moment. This trait is closely connected to empathy. People with strong empathy tend to regulate social environments quickly. But when this system becomes automatic, it can send an unintended signal that your emotional state is easily influenced. And once other people sense that influence, their brain may test it. Not maliciously, just instinctively. Because human brains constantly explore boundaries of control. So the issue is not that you lack strength. The issue is that your nervous system may be broadcasting availability for influence. And the good news is that signals can change. To understand silent respect, we need to understand how the brain interprets stability. In neuroscience, emotional regulation is heavily linked to the prefrontal cortex. This region helps manage impulses coming from the amygdala. The amygdala detects threats, including social threats, criticism, rejection, embarrassment. When the amygdala activates, your brain prepares for quick action. Defend yourself, explain yourself, fix the situation. But when the prefrontal cortex remains active, something different happens. You pause. You observe. You choose your response deliberately. This calm regulation sends a powerful signal to others. Your emotional state is stable. It does not shift instantly. And the human brain tends to associate stability with competence, not because stability is always correct, but because stability historically indicated reliability. People who stayed calm under pressure were more trustworthy in uncertain environments. So your nervous system's calmness becomes a social signal, even if you never speak about it. When tension appears in conversation, your brain often reacts instantly. But the simple act of pausing changes everything. A short silence allows the prefrontal cortex to regulate emotional impulses. Instead of reacting, you respond. To other people's brains, this pause signals composure, and composure is rare enough to attract attention. Many people believe long explanations make ideas stronger, but research on communication shows something interesting. People often interpret brevity as confidence. This is related to a cognitive shortcut called the credibility heuristic. When someone expresses an idea clearly and simply, the brain assumes certainty. You do not need to argue aggressively, but reducing unnecessary explanation can change how your message lands. Sometimes a simple sentence is enough. I see it differently. That approach does not work for me. Short responses reduce emotional noise, and clarity quietly invites respect. Humans are extremely sensitive to emotional signals. In psychology, this is called emotional contagion. Your emotional state spreads to others. But the opposite is also true. Others attempt to influence your emotional state. If someone provokes irritation, and irritation appears immediately, their brain receives confirmation. Interesting, that worked. But if the reaction never appears, the behavior receives no reward. In behavioral psychology, this is called extinction. Behaviors fade when they stop producing results. Calm individuals often receive more respect simply because their emotional state is difficult to manipulate. Another powerful social cue is how you express certainty. Many people unintentionally weaken their statements with hesitation. Phrases like, I might be wrong, but, I'm not sure if this makes sense. I just feel like maybe. These phrases feel polite, but they can signal doubt. Your brain communicates ownership through tone and delivery. Ownership does not require arrogance. It simply means expressing your thought clearly. I think this approach works better. I'm going to try it this way. Confidence often appears not in volume, but in lack of hesitation. Respect also grows from what you choose not to react to. Attention is a limited resource. Your brain cannot fully process every stimulus. so the prefrontal cortex filters incoming information. This is called attentional control. When your attention becomes deliberate, not every comment receives energy. Not every criticism receives engagement. And people begin noticing something subtle. Your attention has value. And when attention becomes valuable, respect tends to follow. When these behaviors combine, they create something powerful, a stable emotional center. Think of social interaction as a field of invisible forces. Some people move constantly. They adjust their tone quickly. They react quickly. Their emotional position shifts frequently. Others move less. They remain calm, steady, predictable. The brain begins orienting around that stability. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as self-anchoring. Your internal state becomes the reference point. Not every external signal changes you. You remain centered. And this centeredness subtly reorganizes the interaction around you. A helpful metaphor for this process is the lighthouse. Storms move across the ocean. Wind rises. Waves crash. But the lighthouse does not chase the storm. It does not argue with the wind. It simply stands, steady, consistent. Ships navigate around it, not because the lighthouse demanded respect, but because its stability created orientation. Your nervous system can function the same way. When your emotional state becomes stable, others orient themselves around that stability. You do not need to dominate conversations. You do not need to prove your value repeatedly. You simply become predictable in one powerful way. Your center does not move easily, and the brain interprets that stability as quiet authority. Respect rarely grows from force. It grows from stability, from the quiet message your nervous system sends in every interaction. I am not easily shaken. I do not rush to defend my existence. I am steady in who I am. When that signal becomes consistent, people begin adjusting around you, not because you demanded respect, but because your presence changed the emotional physics of the room. The paradox is simple. The less desperately you try to control how others see you, the more control you actually gain. Because respect is not created through persuasion. It is created through predictable emotional gravity, a calm center, a steady lighthouse. And once that stability becomes natural, you may notice something subtle. The room grows quieter when you speak. People listen a little longer. Conversations shift slightly when you enter. Not because you became louder, not because you became dominant, but because your nervous system stopped asking for permission to exist. And that quiet shift is often all it takes.